back with another video astro blog. This time we're talking about the February 21st new moon. A new moon in Pisces. Now we have a new moon in Pisces every year, but this is the first time since 1861 that we're having a new moon in Pisces with Neptune, ruler of Pisces, in that sign. And in a way, it's kind of the inaugural of the Neptune in Pisces era. Neptune went into the sign of the fish on February 3rd, but now the sun has come into Pisces. We're going to have the new moon in Pisces. The sun is meeting up with Neptune in Neptune's home sign, all between the 19th and the 21st. And so this is kind of like the first time that everybody is celebrating, if you will, the Neptune in Pisces era. It's really a time of beginnings. But Neptune in Pisces is not just about spiritual energy. It is a kind of amplification of anything that you look at. So there's a tendency to see things sort of through a magnifying glass, a fisheye lens, which makes things bigger. Now, if you have a telescope and you aim it up at the stars, well, then you can see things that you can't see with the naked eye. Nebula, the rings of Saturn, the planet Neptune. On the other hand, you could also have a telescope and aim it at your neighbor's window. The telescope doesn't really care. So Neptune, Pisces, it amplifies consciousness, but it amplifies. You bring the consciousness, they bring the amplification. New moon energy is always about endings and beginnings. The time before a new moon is kind of the honorary Piscean time of the month, regardless of the sign. But of course, when the moon is actually in Pisces, that's amplified. It's a time of ending. It's a time of letting go. I always say that new moons are a great time to set your intention, but they're a great time to set your intention by letting go and backing away from the ego, backing away from the things that kind of drive you. And in the quiet space that results, you see what emerges. So it's not so much holding on and saying, I'm setting my intention because I really want this thing. It's more like letting go and saying, okay, I'm open. What is it that's coming in to fill me? And then after the new moon is a kind of Aryan time. It's a time that is very much going forward. So the time before the new moon is a little bit like an inhalation, and the time after the new moon is like an exhalation. And of course, we speak on exhalation. On a practical level, it helps to have some way of kind of opening up this process and letting go. And meditation is probably the best avenue for many people. Even listening to some oceanic kind of music can help. Prayer, certainly a good idea. And doing dream work is a very Piscean type of thing. It's very helpful to do dream work because you don't have control of your dreams. You don't have conscious control, and so the unconscious is able to express itself. So I think many people around the new moon get more in touch with their dreams, and they have more vivid dreams, and it's a great time to really work with them and see what they seem to be telling you. Now, all this Piscean energy can result in a higher spiritual perspective, but to the extent that we hold on to ego, and I'm betting that, like me, you hold on to ego, the process can actually be kind of difficult at times. Because the natural tendency of a new moon, the natural tendency of a Piscean time is to let go, to sort of dissolve into the bigger picture. That's that wonderful spiritual experience. But to the extent that we hold on to ego, or even just a little piece of ego, in the process of letting go, we find that we're losing control. And when that happens, we can get a little bit paranoid. And I think if you look at the news stories today, you'll see that there is some paranoia going on out there. And the other thing that we can do is sort of fall into a despair. The sense that things aren't working out exactly like we expected is something that we're usually, it happens. But during a Piscean time, that can really be blown out of proportion, and we can get the sense that things will never be okay. Things are always going to be terrible. We're taking that one little piece of the puzzle, and we're magnifying it. We're seeing it as the entire reality. We can also wind up idealizing someone to an extent that is really unreasonable, and we can also demonize somebody to an extent that is absolutely unreasonable. So hopefully we'll avoid some of the negatives and focus on the positives. It's, again, the meditation, the dream work, and just kind of letting go maybe getting back to nature. I guess a trip to the beach would really be in order. That'll really help us to get through this time and use it productively. Because it is a very productive time. It is a great opportunity for us to recognize the potential of the Neptune in Pisces era, which is 14 years long. And although we're going to have a Neptune in Pisces new moon every year, the first one is, well, it's the kickoff. It's the beginning of things. So it's a great time to really see what's going on. If nothing else, really see what's going on in your life and use it as a kind of barometer for where you want to go.